Hello everyone, today we are going to study the difference between the movement and shift in demand curve. So earlier we have studied what is the meaning of demand and what is the meaning of demand curve. So demand is defined as the quantity of a product or service that a consumer is ready to buy at various prices over a period of time, and demand curve is a graph indicating the quantity demanded by the consumers at different prices. So there are two concepts. First is movement in demand curve and the second is shift in demand curve. So what is the difference between these two? So movement in demand curve occurs due to the change in price of the commodity, whereas the shift in demand curve is because of the change in one or more factors other than price. So movement along the demand curve depicts the change in both the factors, that is the price and the quantity demanded from one point to the other. Other things remain constant, unchanged. So the movement along the curve can be in two directions. So what are the two directions? The first direction is upward movement or the downward movement. We can see over here the upward movement or the downward movement. Upward movement indicates the contraction of demand, which means a fall in demand is observed due to the rise in the price. Rise in the price, the fall of quantity demanded. That is why upward movement is there and we can also say the contraction of demand is there. While downward movement shows the expansion in demand, we can say this is a downward movement. It means the expansion in demand, which means the demand for a product or services goes up because of the fall in prices. The price has been fall from P to P1, and that is why the quantity demanded has been increased from Q to Q1. So more quantity of good is demanded at low price, while when the prices are high, demand tend to decrease. Now definition, what is the meaning of shift in demand curves? A shift in demand curve displays the changes in demand at each possible prices owing to the change in one or more non-price determinants such as price of related goods, income, taste and preferences, or expectation of the consumers. Whenever there is a shift in demand curve, there is a shift in equilibrium point also, and the demand curve shifts in two sides. What are the two sides? The first is the rightward shift. It represents the increase in the demand. That the rightward shift, that is the increase in demand due to the favorable changes in the non-price variable at a same price. So increase in demand or rightward shift in demand curve may occur due to the increase in income, rise in the price of substitute goods, or fall in the price of complementary goods, or favorable change in the taste and preferences, or expectation of rise in price or increase in population. And then we have leftward shift. This is the indicator of decrease in the demand. The price remained constant but owing to the unfavorable changes in the determinants other than price. So decrease in demand or leftward shift in demand curve may occur due to the decrease in income, fall in the price of substitute goods, or rise in the price of complementary goods, or unfavorable changes in the taste and preferences, or expectation of fall in prices or decrease in population. So let us understand this with the help of this comparison chart also. So the first basis of comparison is meaning. So movement in demand curve is when the commodity experience change in both the quantity demanded and the price, causing the curve to move in a specific direction. It can be upward or downward. And shift in demand curve is when the price of commodity remain constant but there is a change in quantity demanded due to some other factors causing a shift in demand curve. So it can be a rightward shift or a leftward shift. So in a movement in demand curve, change is along the curve, while in shift in demand curve, change in the position of the curve. So movement in demand curve indicates, while shift in demand curves indicates change in demands. So In movement in demand curve will move in the upward or downward direction. That is, the expansion and contraction will be there. And in shift in demand curve, the demand curve will shift either to the right or to the left. Thank you. In the next lecture, we will be continuing with the law of demand and what are the exceptions to the law of demand. Thank you.